All right. Good morning, good morning, Braves fans everywhere. Good morning, Braves fans across all platforms, across all states, all countries, all continents, wherever you are. If you love the Braves, then damn it, we love you. This is the maiden voyage of the Morning Chop Shop, our newest show on For My ATL Sports One, the network on YouTube. I have two of my compadres here. We got Mr. John from Out of Your Falcon Mind. John, how you doing this morning, sir?
Man, I'm awake. It's raining a little bit and got some coffee, but I'm good to go, buddy. I'm excited, man. This is gonna be awesome. We had such a good time last week. We had to say, you know what, we got to make this a regular thing.
Yes, we did, man. And let me tell you something. I am glad to be here with you, man. Super excited. We also have Mr. Chris A1 Forever from A1 Forever Sports. And hey, man, how you doing this morning? Chris, you there? Chris,
I think
can you
Chris is
hear
having
us?
some
Oh,
technical
wow.
difficulties.
Chris is
Hey
snapping.
man, every day is a great day. Happy to be on here talking. Yeah, can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear you. You look like you're frozen, but we can hear you. How
I
you
got you
doing
now.
this
Uh
morning,
oh,
Chris?
uh
You
oh,
all right?
they doing me wrong.
Yeah, man.
Hold on 1 second. Let me
That's okay.
see.
StreamYard doing StreamYard stuff, man.
It'll be
It
Well,
safe.
happens,
hey,
man. It happens.
John, man, I'm just
Okay.
happy to
What
be here
about
with you
what
guys.
about
Chris, you
is
there?
it better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is it a little
We
bit
can hear.
better
Yeah, it's better.
now,
We can
or
hear
I'm
you.
still tripping?
Are
You
you good?
there? You there? Chris? All right, Chris is working it out. Well, guys, hey, look, we're glad to be here with you. I got an all-star cast with me. We are ready to talk Braves baseball. And with that being said, we are going to get right to it. So, in our first segment, In the Dugout, we are going to talk about our Braves management team. And specifically, John, I'm just going to throw out some trivia right away. Do you know who the last three Atlanta Braves managers are, or were, or
Yeah.
are?
Well, yeah. What? Smith, Freddie Gonzalez, Bobby. Um, there was somebody in between Tory, wasn't there?
Uh, well, if we,
What's that?
I want to, well, you know what? I was counting Snit, right? So if we
Yeah.
go
So
back
okay. Yeah.
to
So
Snit,
Smith, Freddie, and yeah,
you
yeah,
got,
yeah.
yeah, you got Snit, Freddie Gonzalez, and Bobby Cox, which, if you
Hmm.
think about, is pretty stable, right?
Yeah.
Because that's
'Cause-
that's going back into the '90s. That's pretty stable. So, yeah, no worries. Do me a favor, John, if you don't mind. I know
Mhm.
that you have a lot of management experience with your son, and you've been coaching his team and helping him out probably since he was a little fella. Can you tell me the role of the coach or of the manager and the bench coach in the dugout uh, in game time situations?
Yeah, I mean, well, at least for us, I mean, I stopped coaching Liam when he was 9, I believe, 9, 10. But I mean, from before then, we were, I was never the head coach, but I was kind of like probably essentially the bench coach. Like I was, what I mean, I did all the other shit. But no, this is basically, and even the head coach to an extent, man. I mean, like with Snit, and I'm sure everybody has their own opinion on Snit, whether you like the decisions, don't like the decisions, or whatever. But it's really about just controlling all the personalities that are in the dugout, and that's kind of the same in any level, especially in youth baseball, because you got kids that are all over the place. That are some are serious, some are picking daisies in right field. You don't even know don't know what's going on. So it's literally, I mean, it's how well can you manage personalities? Can and at the big league level, man, it's a lot of egos too. It's how well can you manage egos, and
Yep.
put all that stuff aside and just play together as a team. But bench coach, man, I mean, I think it's essentially they're just backing up. He's just backing up with the head coach, and I mean, it probably has specific duties, like could be the lineup, could be you know, who knows what type of thing during the dugout. So I think every team probably has to find out kind of what that role needs to be for their coach because of the personalities. Like with our squad, we've been lucky to have guys that have been for the most part pretty no ego type of dudes for the most part. I mean, now we've had guys over the years that have had those issues. Bobby Cox had, what was the homeboy that was here for a little while, shortstop that he wore like cut off sleeves out to practice, and he was
You
like,
know,
"No, you
was
know
it?
Escobar."
You
Yeah,
know, oh my
yeah,
God, that
yeah.
dude, man.
So I
Oh
mean,
wow.
some of those things just don't fly, and
No,
and
not
like I
with the
said last
Braves.
week, I mean, no, like I said last week, I mean, like even Liam's high school coach, like he's told them all, like, hey, clean shaven, hats forward. We're gonna look like a squad. Like we're not gonna we're gonna go into these games looking like we're supposed to be there. So, but yeah, I think it's the biggest thing, man. Obviously the in-game decisions are huge and then when it comes down to when to make the switch in the bullpen, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
and I think that's where a lot of people get pissed off with Snit, which I can understand that. There's been some decisions that I think we've all been like, what the hell, but. I think people get lost too. Like he's making the best decision he thinks. So like he's not trying to like sabotage the team. It's just what
right,
he thinks is right at
right,
the time, whether it's wrong or not.
right.
But yeah, that's just kind of where we're at.
Good deal, man. I appreciate that. So Carrie has an interesting question for us. Question for the panel: did you become a Falcons fan or a Braves fan first? Which sport did you watch first, or become a fan of first? So for me, I was a Falcons fan first, but I can remember those early Braves teams that I became a fan of, right? And so for me, like my favorites as a Braves fan as a kid, Rufino Linares, Rafael Ramirez, Dale Murphy, Claudel Washington, um, Bob Horner. I can
Yep.
remember Bob Horner's rookie season. Um, and yeah, man, just those guys, man, just those guys. I can remember so many early Braves games and Braves, seasons in which we just sucked. We just totally sucked, right? I remember the Rick Camp game. I remember that game. Ironically, my parents let me stay up to watch it. Ironically. And I was so excited when he hit that home run. And by the time we lost, I was just like, okay, I'm going to bed. I was over it. Because that was a marathon. But yeah, so for me, I probably started watching the Falcons in 77, probably started watching the Braves in 78. But yeah, man, been a lifelong fan. John, what about you? Which was first and when and why and how?
I'm about a decade, I guess, behind you. So it's
Okay,
like, so for me, like my dad specifically was a huge, like my whole family is from like southwestern Virginia, right, like right in the
okay,
corner. So like we moved down here when I was 3.
okay.
So like basically grew up here, of course, but he was always like, there's y'all, Braves country is a real deal, like it's a real thing, and like at the time, Richmond Braves was like one of the AAA teams, so like there's a ton of Braves fans in Virginia, a ton of them. So my dad was a huge Braves fan. So like that was that was kind of like my team to begin with. And then so it was like now Dale Murphy was probably my favorite player to be like he was on the like late
Yeah,
'80s Dale
yeah,
Murphy.
yeah.
And then of course then Bobby came around and 1991 and 1991 is clear like that's when the first season I sat down and like actually watched like every game like with my dad, and then the Falcons came along basically right that 91-92 season or 90-91 season because like half my family is Redskins fans, Commanders fans,
Okay.
and then half my family is, but I have family down here that were already Falcons fans, and so like I kind of rooted for them both. My dad was like, "Nah, you got to pick now." He's like, "Yeah, which one are you going to pick?" It happened to be the year that the Skins and the Falcons were in the NFC Championship game against each other,
Oh
and I went,
wow.
yeah, and I went ahead and picked the Falcons. I was like, no, I'll beat the Falcons. And of course, they fucking lose in the NFC Championship game, and here we are. However many years later. But yeah, but it was they were really close. But Braves, I guess, were first in line. Yeah,
I got you. I got
yeah.
you. So uh Chris, we're talking about origin stories of our fanhood. So Carrie asked, did we become Braves fans or Falcons fans first? So we're gonna ask that to you, and then I guess when.
Good question.
So go ahead.
Yeah, good question. Oh man, let me see if I can jog my memory here. I want to say, to be honest, I became a Falcon fan first. To be honest with you, man, I'm more of in the younger Falcon fan generation and everything. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I was barely able to speak like that when Dion was out there, and in the '91 season and everything like that. But I do know about it, and I would say Falcons first, but immediately right there with the Braves because I became an actual Braves fan about '93. Didn't really understand the game, but I knew it was my team, so I knew that. And then for the Falcons, it had to be like I said, I was still a baby, but it had to be I want to say like '91, '92 because I didn't actually know about the too legit to quit when it was going on. I didn't know about it when it was going on. It was like the previous season to when they was talking about the Falcons and how they were the bad boy Falcons and I'm like, well, why are they the bad boy Falcons? And the next day, I just see everybody dancing and everybody doing all this stuff, MC Hammer, all that different things like that. And it's just like, I don't even care. Even as a kid, how can you not fall in love with that? So it's just, and then of course you tell me, I'm like, hold on, we in Atlanta, this my team. I'm like, hold on, it was a lot of things. So happy to be a Braves fan, happy to be a Falcons fan, but I definitely would say that I was a Falcons fan first, but it's probably but I was right behind with the Braves. So, and still a Braves fan, man. ATLN, man. ATLN.
I hear that, man. I hear that, fellas. Well,
And
hey, we
Jerry
definitely
Lanville used
appreciate
to.
that. I'm sorry. What's that, John?
No, that's early day. Like those days, like Jerry Lanville was using Brett Favre as like a circus trick.
Right.
Before
Right.
games, he's like, hey, watch this dude, man. Why he throwing out the stadium? Watch him. I bet you. He was betting, taking guys' money before games. That's all Brett Favre did while he was here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That in drink, I'm told. That in
Yep.
drink.
Yep. That in drink.
Love Buckhead.
Called him Big Bad Brett, man. He had the beer in his hand. That's what they were saying.
He needed to be in some little small town in Wisconsin. That's where he needed to be.
Yeah. He needed discipline. He
Can y'all imagine if he would have stayed in Atlanta? Do you think it would have had a negative effect on him, like long term, even if he did have a better voice?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was already going downhill, right?
Glanville really wasn't a disciplinarian. He needed somebody that was going to be tough on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Green Bay ended up being the place for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Craig Johnson says Ted Simmons, Rick Mailer, love me some real Rick Mailer, Ozzie Virgil, remember him. Craig says Falcon fan first, then Braves came in. Dixon Way says, good morning, fellas. Always good to talk about the Braves. Good morning, Dixon Way. Craig Johnson
What's going
says
on,
Bruce
family?
Sutter. I forgot Bruce Sutter was a Brave. That is right. Forgot about that. Craig says, are we winning the World Series in 2025? Well, that's why we're here, Craig. That remains to be seen. It's odds. Certainly a possibility. What's that, John?
Second best odds right now.
Hey,
the Dodgers in their 15-man rotation. I mean,
the Dodgers literally signed the world. Okay,
it's unbelievable.
Like so, John, and I think you were in the show yesterday, Chris. I think you might have popped in, but we looked at the payroll, and the Dodgers payroll this year, drum roll please, is $393 million. Again, $393 million. 300, like they bought the world. Okay,
yeah, that's basically like the Marlins, the Pirates, and like Orioles probably all together, like all
bro. For comparison's sake, I think the Marlins payroll is $70 million.
Yeah,
the Dodgers are 300. Like, I mean, look, I'm not a hater. Okay,
hey, it's gonna hurt real bad when they lose to us in the NLCS.
That would hurt. That would, because they literally have pulled out all the stops. Like they bought the world. They literally
if that was to happen to you, I want them to put the graphic up about the budgets between the two teams too. I really want them to do it. Good God.
That's crazy, man.
Hey, the Dodgers, they did their thing, but fellas, I still believe that, chemistry got to be a part of baseball somewhere. And you just went and got a bunch of guys and threw them on a team and just say, hey, go win. Now, I ain't going to lie, it's impressive, but we still got to see it. We still got to see it, guys.
Yeah,
I
look
can't
at
I can't go crowning them the World Series champ already. I can't do that.
no,
Not in baseball, man. They're not in baseball.
yeah. I mean,
Mm.
you got to gel, and guess what? Things still have to break your way, right? Because you got to remain reasonably healthy. Like there's certain injuries you can survive, and as we found out last year, certain injuries you cannot. Right? So,
I mean, look
but
how
it,
we
it,
put together that 21 championship team, and we were like stitched
yes,
together in the
yes,
World Series. I mean, you know, freaking what's his name? Ian came out of nowhere, Anderson,
yep,
and then did that in
Right.
the World Series. I mean, that's the things that happen during those types of years. Like you don't have to. It's not always the best loaded team. Because look at the Yankees; they spend money every year too, and they ain't been. I mean, other than last year, they hardly ever go to the show anymore. So or to go to
Right.
the World Series. So it's like, I
Right.
mean,
no,
Look
the
at the
team,
Mets. Look at the Mets a few years ago.
oh, big time, big time.
yeah, the best team on paper doesn't always win. It's the team that is playing the best at that time, and in sync and in unison together. To your point about those 21 Braves, we had I think 2 or 3 openers. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Which means we basically didn't have a starter for that game, so we had openers.
Mhm.
We had 1 no-hitter. We went and traded for our entire outfield during the trade deadline, and we put it all together. And that bullpen was legendary. Chris, you and I were talking about that.
Oh
That
yeah.
night
Yep.
shift
Yep.
was
My goodness.
legendary. And shout out to Matzik wherever you are, because as far as I'm
Mm-hmm.
concerned, Matzik really deserves a statue. Maybe not a big one,
At
but
least a
maybe a
plaque.
statue head,
A
a
plaque is something.
statue somewhere in that stadium, because he legitimately gave his arm. Okay,
Yeah.
that
Right.
last inning against the Dodgers, where he goes up against Mookie and everybody else. Mookie doesn't even see it, because not only is it
Man.
fast, it's moving. Tyler threw 99, 99, 99, and Mookie didn't even get that. Mookie was like, what
Mookie Betts said. Mookie Betts said, "I have never seen pitches just move that fast." And like he said, move because it had movement. So it
Yeah,
had movement
Life
and
speed.
it was fast. And he just like he just was standing there. He was just like, "What can I do?" Because
yeah.
Matson threw as hard as he really could. We needed that.
Oh, we
We
definitely
needed
need 100%. We needed it. So, hey
and
man,
Luke Jackson owes him money.
yes, he does.
I'm sure
Yes, he
does.
does. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because I think everybody in the world wanted to kill Luke Jackson in that moment.
Oh
And then
man.
Matson come in and it's like, oh my God. It's like, one, sit down. You two, wait,
Mm.
what do they call it? Good afternoon, good morning, good night.
Yep.
See y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
Next inning.
That's it.
That's what he did. So
That's
Lisa
real.
Shepherd says, hey y'all, good to see you, John. Let's
What's
planning
up,
out a
Lisa?
Braves game this season. Hey, well,
Yeah,
let's
that'd be
see.
awesome.
Hey, let's
All
do
about
it. Let's
all
do it,
about
Jason
y'all.
Way says, great question, Carrie. Craig Johnson, Falcons fan in 1996. Love it. Braves 1987 changed new uniforms. Carrie says,
Yeah.
thank you, Larry. Hope you're doing well. Lisa says, for me, I grew up a Braves fan, Falcons fan. They both played at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, so I got to
Right.
watch both play as a
Yep.
kid. However, football is my favorite sport. I remember that. As a matter of fact,
I think that's how you get roped in, honestly, because they both
yeah.
played there.
Yeah. Well, and it was
Oh, yeah.
interesting in the fall time when you would have Braves game and then you'd have like a Falcons game that next day. And
Yep.
the field, you
Mhm.
could kind of see the infield in the middle of it.
Right, right.
These kids
Hey,
nowadays,
that's
they
old
won't know
school
anything
right
about
there.
that. Yeah, that is old school.
That's old
They won't,
school.
yeah. They won't know anything. Lisa says, I love that ATL jersey, Chris. Been meaning to purchase that
Yeah,
one. Chris says, hey,
yeah, man.
Lisa.
Had to get that outcast. Had to get that outcast one.
Lisa
Gotcha.
says, hey, y'all, let's planning out and to go to Braves game this season. Let's do it, Lisa. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Lamarcus Boyd says, good morning, fellas.
What's up, Lamar?
Lamarcus, Lisa says, grew up watching the Braves. Yeah, I think, however, Football Emerged is my favorite. Okay, we got you. And last but not least, Falcon Commander became a Falcons Braves fan at the same time, around the early time, Andre Bad Rising, Deion Sanders, Ron Gant, David Justice, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz. Go Atlanta Falcons. All right.
Well,
Got
same
another
thing.
trivia question for y'all. Got another trivia questions for y'all. There have been two sport athletes that played for the Falcons. at the same time, I believe.
Yep.
Can you name who they are?
Dion and Brian Jordan.
Yep.
Yeah,
Deion Sanders and Brian Jordan.
Brian Jordan. Yep.
Very good.
Brian Jordan,
Very good.
he would hit some.
Oh man,
Brian Jordan was underrated.
Jordan.
I think
Yeah.
Brian was very underrated, especially as a Brave. He did a lot.
Yeah, man. He really did. He really did. All right, fellas, let's get into it. So at the batting cage, we got a new hitting coach. His name is Tim Hires.
Mhm.
And some would say, in some instances, with a few folks, Braves have a great lineup, but there are a few that may need some modifications this year. So let's get into it. Do you think that Tim Hires can help Orlando Arcia and or our left fielder Jared Kelnick? And John, we'll start with you.
Go to Chris first with Mike is being stupid.
Okay. Chris, what you got?
So, all right. So, I mean, my thing is, this guy has prestige. He has worked with World Series champions before. He is, I mean, shoot, his reputation is pretty good from articles that I read. So, I mean, my thing is, can he come in and help guys like that? Possibly. I'm gonna be optimistic and I'm gonna say possibly because I think the Braves need to go back to just putting the ball in play anyway instead of just trying to always just knock the ball out the yard. So this hitting coach could possibly help with that. Could possibly like settle the guys down, put the ball in play. Most importantly, guys, I want to stop leaving runners on the base. I feel like we did so much of that last year that it just was sickening. And it also, worked against you because you already are inconsistent lineup as far as how the bat went last year. Then you're dealing with injuries. So, you had all those things working against you. If you can just continue to put the ball in play, some of those little choppers, some of those little singles can possibly turn into actual doubles and more runs batted in for the Atlanta Braves. So I'm optimistic. I'm excited. And I'm hoping that he can come in and at least, you know what I'm saying, enhance the bat of those guys like a Arcia and like a Kelnick who's going to be fighting for his life for playing time this year.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Arcia specifically, I think so, because I think also moving him down to 9 will be huge for him because I don't think he has no pressure on him whatsoever. Because what he hit 218 last year, something like that, like a career low. But he and I think this happened to a lot of guys that when as many injuries as we had, and it's hard as a player and a human not to press a little bit, not to go out there and do a little try to you trying to do too much. You trying to because y'all saw Arcia, he had no plan. He was up there trying to hit it in the left field 20 rows deep every time. Like he was just and like you said, Chris, he's got to be able to just and a 9 hole, just if you get on base, great, because we got the top of the lineup coming up. We can get you in, but if you don't, just go play really good defense. You got that, fantastic arm, got the glove. You don't have to go out there and hit 270 or anything, but just, don't hit 218 either. Be somewhere a little bit above there, and don't worry about hitting so many home runs. But this guy's got a great reputation though of just getting guys, just spraying the field, man, just hitting everywhere over the field. And I think when the lineup's healthy and nobody's pressing, everybody's good to go, then we'll be a lot better than we were last year in those situations. Because like you said, the runners left on base was that was maddening, dude. That was maddening.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm talking third base with less than 2 out.
Just get it to the right field. Just anything. Just get the guy in. You ain't gotta try to hit a home run.
That's inexcusable.
No,
third base. You gotta. It doesn't have to be in hit. Let's just get him in. But you can drive the ball. Let's just get him in. But that's definitely something we have to improve upon. And I agree with you, John. Look, Arcia, just stop swinging for the fences, man. If you hit it, you hit it. I mean, that man definitely does not get cheated. There are times where he literally cooled the entire stadium because he was swinging for the fences and missing so much. So I definitely think an approach with him would help. I'm interested about Jared Kelnick, right? And let's go ahead and get into this. So Jared here recently got his Kirk Cousins on and decided to tell the world that he had nagging injuries last year. Now, I do not think that it's the same thing because
Nah.
if you play 162 games, every Major League Baseball player is going to have something nagging them. Okay.
Mhm.
But what he talked about, the oblique, the wrist, I think something in his ankle or what have you, an oblique and a wrist specifically
Fairly
That's
important in
good
baseball.
can
Very important.
right,
Yeah.
So if we look at his batting average in June, I think when he was leadoff, I think it was 340, 307, 3 something, and then that following month it dropped to 1
Plummeted.
whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing somewhere in there he got hurt. And the reason I bring it up is because at the time there was a time where Jarrett was our only outfield. We had to put him in center. We couldn't put anybody else in there.
Yep.
Right? You know,
Right.
Acuna was down. Michael Harris was out. So he had to go out and play. So I bring that up to say, and I'm throwing this out here, guys. It's a wild and crazy suggestion, but I'm gonna throw it out here because I really want you guys' response, right? What if Kelnick comes on, right? What if Acuna comes back? Acuna's killing it, Profar's killing it, Michael Harris is killing it, and Kelnick's hitting 320 with 10 dingers.
Man, I hope that's a problem that we have.
I'm trying to figure out, is it like music behind me going or what?
Here's my question, guys. Here's my question. If this happens and Arcia is doing Arcia stuff, do you guys think that we slide Profar in at shortstop? And I'm throwing it out there.
I mean, I don't think you can rule it out. I mean, it's been a while since he played it, but he can play it. And so, I mean, it's like Smith says, like, I think he said it before, like these things kind of tend to work themselves out, whether it be like injury or somebody goes down or somebody just not hitting or whatever. Maybe Ozuna's not, because the thing is, we can't expect Ozuna to repeat what he did last year. Like he was the only guy that was
otherworldly.
Right. So you expect to be a little bit of drop off from him this year. So I don't know. Like I just if he's hitting, there's no way you take him out of lineup if he's hitting 320. I mean, like you just can't. You know. I mean, like, but there's got to be. I don't know. To me, the odd man out. He's definitely got to perform because like now having somebody that theoretically could step in there and play pretty well, like you have to hit. Yeah.
I don't honestly. If Jarrett Kelnick is hitting 320, I mean, if he's hitting, first of all, if Jarrett Kelnick is hitting 275, I'm all.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, for Jarrett Kelnick, there's no way you would be able to take it because you would have to ride that out. Like, you know, it's almost like one thing I hate in sports is when you take out the hot hand. I don't care what sport it is. I just can't stand that. It's my pet peeve. So if he's that hot, you have to play him and ride that out until he gets cold, or if he gets cold. You can't. You wouldn't be able to. And Profar may have to go to shortstop. To be honest, he probably would have to, especially like TWill, the scenario that you put out there. Everyone's killing it. Yeah, we would like Arcia. You would be the odd man out unless, like how we said before, his bat wakes up because of the new hitting coach. Now that is an interesting problem. If Arcia bat wakes up and Kelnick bat wakes up and everybody else is killing it too, you want to talk about a good problem on your hand. But hey, good luck trying to figure that out, Snit.
Use it as a trade piece at deadline. Get a starter.
Of course.
Yeah, go get
there
a starter.
You go.
Yeah. That's
I like the way you guys are thinking because that's exactly where I was going to. If he's doing that good, then you got to use him. Somebody get something in here.
So here's what I think is interesting, right? Because the only reason I wouldn't put Profar, if you're talking about second base, that's one thing. Shortstop, and John, you know this, is a lot of pressure because you're basically captain. You're basically captain, right? You get what I'm saying? So you can play left field.
Good point.
No disrespect to any left fielders. You can play left field. All you're going to do out there is shag fly balls. You're not even the center fielder. Shortstop, it's all about you, right?
Yeah, and the relationship with second base too.
Yes.
That is
That's
true.
increased pressure. Now, Profar and Ozzy are friends, so that could work, but that would be increased pressure. But I brought it up to say that Kelnick could have very well been hurt all last season, and if he comes back healthy, and if he comes out here doing that damn thing, and then let's say you got Profar and now Ronnie and now Michael Harris, and RC is doing. Excuse me for saying this, but RC is shit. 220, playing great defense, 220, striking out at least 2 times a game. You know what I mean? It may be a situation. It may be a situation where maybe you play Profar and short, maybe up to the 8th inning, and then you throw RC in, you close it out. You know what I mean? I don't know. Good
Man,
problem to have.
Yeah.
If I'm on field, I'm upset though. I'm like, bro, I'm on coming into the 9th inning. Hey, we need you for your defense, sir. Your glove is golden still now.
Yeah, and the thing with Kelnick too, man, like if he catches fire, I mean, because the thing is, he doesn't have a track record of doing that yet. You know what I mean? So like, it's like if he does, you take advantage of it. You get somebody to bite on it. You go get a starter or whatever, if you can. But like he just had a weird, like when he came up in Seattle. I mean, he was like 0 for 30. What is 0 for his 31st 4 at bats or something like that? And they sent him right like
terrible.
But for him, like that's mentally just like we talked about that on the first show, TWill, like how that mental part of the game, like that just destroys a kid, like because you just come up, you're the number 1 pick, you come up and then you just shit your pants like in front of everybody on the biggest stage, and so now you're like, what can I do now? So then the best thing was obviously getting traded somewhere new, and he even talked about it. I heard on the radio when he first came over. He's talking about how he was like over analytical. Like he would come back to the dugout. He had the iPad. He can see like the last swings he took, but he'd sit there and just kind of overanalyze, because you can do that for sure. Like you need somebody to be like, dude, just go back. Like just it's not as simple as see ball, hit ball, but like kind of like go a little bit back to that. You know what I mean? Like just go there, relax, and stop trying to. But he could never get out of his own head. Then last year we thought like, man. Like you said, in June, hitting that 300, it's like, oh, he found it. So it would make sense that type of injury would have caused him to like just fall off the cliff like that. Because that's normally when you're going that good, you're going to drop off a little bit maybe, but not just like that.
Yeah, like you said, he plummeted.
That was like Kirk Cousins. Like, what happened? What happened?
Fell off the cliff.
Yeah. Hey, so, but I mean, but I'm saying if he's healthy, if that was a thing, and now he's healthy and he comes back hitting, cool. But you may not be here all year. You know what I mean? We may use you. So
hey man, let me tell you something. It's like that would be akin to this, right? So you guys know I started on One Time for the Fan. I think one of my first solo podcasts that I did on my channel was with the Dixon Way. And if you are a new guy, the worst guy to do a podcast with is the Dixon Way because he has his shit together. He comes in. He's got the soundboard. He's got that deep voice. I mean, Dixon Way is that dude, right? So, and I never told him this, but so we did the show, and I got off the show saying, I suck at this. I'm never gonna be like I'm come on, I'm serious. I was so agitated because Dixon Way came on there, man, and he was like doing the soundboard. It was like, welcome to the, like, he's got that voice, you know what I mean? And on the inside, my confidence is like, what the hell are you doing, man? You need to go work some tickets. What made you think you could be a podcaster, right? And imagine that 30 times over. Imagine that happening 30 times in a row, right? You would feel like, what the hell am I doing? So baseball, to John's point, you got to be mentally tough. You have to be able to take failure. You get what I'm saying? Now, I've worked with Dixon Way, and I'm confident now, but I tell you what, Dixon Way intimidated the hell out of him. That first time I had him on my show, oh my God, man. I was up there like on the inside, right? I'm not showing it on the outside, but I'm on the inside. I'm like, man, I got to go do something else. This ain't going to work, right?
Yeah, so that was me and Mike, man. We started off doing our Zoom calls and like putting them on YouTube. Like that was pretty much literally how we started. And it was like we didn't
Right.
want to reach out to anybody. We're like, hey man, y'all want to come on our Zoom call and like and do a show? So, no, it's like, no, we're not gonna do that.
Hey, man.
So,
I'm saying,
Hey,
so,
I ain't gonna lie. That's how I started out, man. Shoot, interviews, anything. Zoom, anybody?
yeah.
Zoom. I'm
Hey.
like, hey,
hey, but I tell you what,
Zoom
though,
is still there for
watched
you
a
for at
lot
least
of-
40 minutes.
I watched a lot of
That's
Dixon
right.
Way, so
That's
Dixon
right.
Way got me right. He doesn't know this. He's probably finding out now. But I watched after that. I watched a lot of Dixon Way. But I tell you what, man, that dude comes to play. He was one of the first guys on my show, and he was on it, man. He was on it. Everything was like bam, 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 and then that voice, man. He's got that bass. You know what I mean? That voice, and I'm like, damn, like. Hey, Dixon, let me just go get your coffee, man. I'll be right back. How do you want that? You take it black? Like, how you take it? But yeah, man, just imagine that failure 30 times over. Like you, and a lot of people are not prepared for that, right? But I really feel like this may be, because again, to John's point, to Chris's point, look, this is put up or shut up time for Kelvin.
100%.
Okay? This put up or shut up time. Does he have options?
And not everybody can get punched in the mouth and recalibrate. That's pretty much what happened.
I don't think so.
I wonder if Kelnick has I want to say, well, if he doesn't, like he'll probably stay on the roster as a fourth outfielder. And like you say, John, a lot of times this thing kind of, takes care of itself. He's good to have, but I'm just wondering what that dynamic is going to be. You know what I mean? I really am wondering what the dynamic is going to be.
Yeah, I hope we're having that conversation.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's a good problem to have. And I'm like you just said, John, I will hope that we're having that conversation. I know Dixon say we have to worry about the Phillies and the Mets.
Phillies and the Mets problem. First, in my opinion, the Braves, when Ronald and Strider return, should be a top 5 team. AJ Smith-Shawver had the jump to starter. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Now, John,
AJ's adding a pitch, guys. Y'all hear about AJ adding a pitch? He's adding like a cutter now.
I did not.
Oh yeah.
AJ's adding a cutter now, and that may be to kind of like keep the ball in the ballpark, possibly.
Well, so it basically just keeps him off his fastball, right?
Right. Right.
You can't just sit there because a cutter essentially moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a pitch to generate weak contact. So when it comes out of my hand, it may be at the barrel. By the time it hits your bat, it's really like off your hands, right? Because it's got movement. It moves horizontally with most cutters, right? But maybe it will keep them off of his fastball. And look at AJ's another one. I mean, it's almost put up or shut up time for him. I know he's got one option left, right? So you can send him down, but by the time you do that, you can't send him down anymore next year, right?
Right.
So
he has to start make a jump.
Yeah.
If they wanted him to start too, like he had to develop a third pitch. Like it's tough to be a starter with 2 pitches. I mean, it's tough to last. Going through the lineup, especially, I mean, not that anybody goes to the lineup 3 times these days, but if you happen to get to the lineup the 3rd time, like you're going to have that 3rd pitch or even 4th pitch for that matter.
Yeah.
But,
and a guy who I believe is going to take a huge jump this year, who's adding a pitch himself, is Spencer Swallenbach. He's adding a curveball.
He already has like 18 pitches.
Then he already have.
That's what I'm saying. Like Spence, what are you doing?
Hey man, whatever's working. Whatever.
He can command all of them. He can command every single one, which is crazy.
And that's a good point, John, because I'm wondering if he's adding it because he's like, I already have this repertoire. I might as well throw the curve in there to kind of like help with the command and help with like being able to move the ball around the strike zone. So I'm thinking he's just like, I'm just going to improve my repertoire. And I believe he's going to take a Spencer Strider like jump this year. I think he's going to get more innings, everything, because, we have like Chris Sale, who's probably going to be your opening day starter. I believe they also announced that he is starting the Grapefruit League. So he will be like the starter there. And then most likely, if he's the starter there for that first game, most likely he's going to be the starter for the opening day against the San Diego Padres. So, I mean, Chris Sale, let me ask you guys a quick question about this. How confident are you guys and Chris Sale being able to stay healthy and repeat what he did last year, even if it's not on the same level, at least close around it.
That's the $1 million question. So
Yeah.
I think Chris Sale can be successful, but as far as health is, I mean, you look at he had back spasms at the wrong time, right? If he has back spasms at the beginning of the season and not the end, we're probably having a totally different conversation because the Braves at least have a chance against San Diego. It's probably a totally different conversation. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. Health is one of those things, man. And unfortunately, the Braves have been snake bitten, specifically with our pitchers for the last 3-4 playoffs, right? Going back to 2022. Even in 2021, what Charlie Morton broke his leg. Did he break his broke his leg, right?
Yeah, I think it was
Broke his leg in the first game in the world, whatever his appearance. So, you know, look that's why the Braves draft pitchers constantly, because in a given season, you're probably going to need 13 to 14 guys. Because guys go down, guys have hiccups, whatever happens, guys, you know, have little injuries, nagging injuries. You just don't know. I don't want to say positive or negative just because you don't know. What I will say is, you know, to think that Chris Sale is going to be otherworldly again, you know, maybe he might take a tiny step back. He's still going to be Chris Sale. All right. Yeah. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to give you innings. He's going to strike guys out. That's what he does. Will he be what he was last year? Don't know. I don't know. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's tough to do a triple crown 2 years in a row. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, he is 1 year older. Like you said, I mean, like the fastball's still gonna have life to it, and his arm angle's so weird. I mean, it's just so weird for a batter. Like whether it's a lefty or a righty, like it's just he's going to get people just based on that. Like it's just it's tough to pick up, you know. Like and that thing moves, like his slider moves so much. I mean, it's just a disgusting pitch. I mean, so he's still gonna have success, but and the health is, you know, and the fact he went through all of last season was basically until and of course the playoffs, but until then, healthy, like. Makes me pretty confident that he can get through it, especially coming off of the injuries he had previously. But so he should be fine. But yeah, I mean, I mean, once Strider's back and we got two legitimate number ones right there, that's gonna be a nasty 1-2 combination.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you think about this too, guys. Chris Sale is now our veteran, our voice in the locker room. You think about it, it's one of our veteran guys. Shoot, we don't have Charlie, we don't have Max. Shoot, man, we only have like 2 or 3 guys that was left from that World Series team, including coaches. So it's just like Chris Sale is going to come in, I think, and of course he's going to be one of your aces, one of your starters, hopefully stay healthy. But he's also going to be another voice in the locker room, guys. We don't have a lot of OG Braves here, you know, so it's going to have to be guys like
I love that too, because he is a take no shit type of dude.
Yes,
and like
he is.
Go do your job, and I think that's awesome. We need that type. He's that chipper type of voice.
Yes, we do. We do. And you need a guy that's going to be like, look, guys, enough of this BS. Let's go. You know, we got stuff we got to do. Let's go. Let's move. You need that, especially now that you don't have Ron Washington. You need a guy like that. You need somebody with that voice that can say, hey, man, you know, look it. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get to the manager's office, guys. If you're Snit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling like you're with everything that happened last year, right? With the coaches that you lost, right? Are you feeling the hot seat a little bit? Which sounds ridiculous to say because we still made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how some Braves fans are out there in the Twitterverse and just
Braves and Falcons Twitterverse fight each other every year for
who my god.
Who can give you the most crazy shit?
Oh my god.
It can be pretty bad, guys.
So it's Snit on the hot seat. I'll put it that way. It's Snit on the hot seat this year. John, we'll start with you.
I mean, barring like an epic collapse, I'd say no. I mean, like just the fact that what we did last year with all the injuries that we had, pretty
Yes.
amazing
There
job.
we go.
And
There
I
you
mean, and yeah, and look, there's going to be times that you don't agree with him pulling a guy when he pulls a guy, or whenever he puts in a different, puts in a guy you think shouldn't be in it. Like we've all done that. We all sit there and do that.
Right.
But overall, I mean, like the guys would die for the man. I mean, they love him to death, and that's huge in baseball. Like just knowing that the manager will have you back. So yeah, he's. I don't think he's, like I said, barring just something coming out of nowhere. I think he'll probably go out on his own terms whenever he wants to call it a day. But yeah, Chris.
You're right. I think, to be honest with you, I think if he was going to be out the door, he would have been already out. Honestly, you think about that time back when we had the best record in baseball, the best bats in baseball, and decisions, and I said not having that, not having guys firing all in the same cylinder. I think if it was any time, you probably would have did it then. Now, especially after the season that we just had, like John just alluded to, I mean, we had no business making the playoffs. You
At
you
all.
don't fire a guy, you don't fire a skipper who gets a team that's not supposed to be there, who's lost their MVP, their ace, pitchers going in and out, batters going in and out. Austin Riley had a terrible year because of injury mostly. It's just like Matt Olson wasn't hitting right until at the end of the season, and he still was kind of shaky. So it's just like all the things that was working against you, and you still make the playoffs. So that's a testament to the team as a whole, and a testament to the skipper. And I believe that Snit is going to be in Atlanta as long as we don't have no epic collapse, as long as we're not like the Marlins or the Nationals or something like that, which I don't see that happening. But as long as we're not like one of those teams, I think Snit is here until he's not ready to be here anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree 100%, guys. As far as I'm concerned, Snit was the manager of the year just because of all of the folks that that were injured. You lost your best hitter. You lost your best pitcher. You lost your center fielder for a large part of the season. You lost your third baseman. You lost your catcher for a large part of the season. I mean, it was so bad. The running joke was, look, we just need somebody to finish the game. Hey, let's go get somebody from the parking lot to play left field or whatever. Like, It was that bad. And to make the playoffs, as far as I'm concerned, hey man, manager of the year. You know what I mean? And I don't feel bad about it. I think where most folks get upset with Snit, and I'm not gonna. I only got upset with Snit one time last year. Where most folks get upset is when he makes a decision with the bullpen that they don't understand. And my issue with that is, look at guys, you cannot throw guys 80 times, 90 times. You'll burn them out.
Yep.
You burn out your arm. You can't throw Iglesias out there. You can't have him make 80 appearances, right? You can't have your high octane guys in every scenario. Sometimes your lower leverage guys are going to have to do, because you may have to rest a guy. Let's say you've used Iggy or Iglesias for 3 days in a row. You're probably not going to use them for that fourth day. So guess what? You got to have somebody else to come in and close. That's just the way it's going to have to be, right? Let's say you use Pierce Johnson for, I don't know, 3-4 days in a row. That fifth day, that curveball is just not going to be the same. It's not going to snap, right? So you cannot burn out your bullpen. There's an old saying that says you cannot win the division in April, but you can lose it. You have to use your bullpen pieces equitably. And I think a lot of people, especially casual baseball fans who are not aware of this or don't give it thought, a lot of times just think, oh, it's easy to manage. Oh, no, it's not, right? There could be something going on with the pitcher. He may not be hurt, but maybe his side's bothering him. So you just want to give him an extra day, right? The only issue I had with Snit last year is when Ozzie came back, he put him hitting second, and I never have been a fan.
Right.
No.
But we talked about it though, TWill, in a private chat before Ozzie even came back. Does Ozzie go back in the second spot? Yes. But why? He's coming back.
Right.
That's Snit. That's because the relationship, and it goes back to him being a skipper. The relationship always wins.
Yeah.
That and Snip wants to run out the same 9 guys every time.
Yeah.
Like if that's
Right.
what he wants to do that. And again, to piggyback off your point, TWill, on the bullpen, I think a lot of casual fans or whatever, they see it like a video game. Like this guy's your closer, this guy's your setup man. You just bring him in every night, and like you have to understand, like, and just with my kid pitching as well, like if you go out there and you come out of the bullpen, you're going 100%. Like you're not worried about lasting unless you're a long man. You're not worried about lasting innings. Like you're gonna go out there and just empty it for 1 inning, 2 innings, whatever you got. So that's a ton of stress. And like so you're gonna do it the second day, okay, maybe, but you're gonna need a day of rest, like you said. So like there's got to be some of the decisions that Snip makes is not for that game that day. It may look like what the hell is he doing, but he's preparing for tomorrow, the next day, what's coming down the line. That's why people lose it. That's why I can't even literally. That's why Braves Twitter annoys me more than Falcons Twitter, because people lose their minds on a 162 game season on decisions made in May.
Right.
I'm like, guys, I get it. I want to win every game too, but that's just not reality when it comes to baseball.
Right.
This is not. You're going to lose to the worst team. It's going to happen. Like it's going to. I mean, you don't want it to, but it's going to. And I mean, so. But anyway, yeah, that's mine. I could rant about that for a long time. Go ahead, TWill.
No. I mean, you on point, John. Shoot, that's how it is.
Yeah. Kerry says, question for the panel: who is your favorite player on the Braves? Current player. Oh wow.
Well, for me, it's definitely still Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm sorry. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Ron, I mean, I would have still been a Braves fan regardless. I mean, that's not ever going to change. But my thing is, Ron helped get me back into baseball a little bit when I kind of fell out of love with it. We were terrible. We had, like I was telling TWill, I was working at Turner Field and we were losing, bro. We were a losing team. We were a losing franchise. I think Jason Hayward was still here. It just, it was bad, man. It was
we're going through the rebuilding years. I think that was from 2014 to 2017, I think, or 2013, maybe
2018 at least.
18, really,
yeah. So it's just like we were bad for a while. So all those years that we were bad, I was there working it, and I was just like, man, are we ever going to get back to the promised land? My goodness, at least to play for the playoffs or something. And then we had that thing against the Dodgers where we were up 3-1. And that thing crushed me because I wanted to beat the Dodgers so freaking bad, and I just was ready to talk noise. And then I had a homie who was a Dodgers fan at the time, and I really was ready to get on to him. And then what happened. But eventually, thanks to Tyler Matzik and his arm that needs to go into the Hall of Fame,
Amen.
We finally was able to get over the hump, man. When we could beat the Dodgers. It didn't matter who was coming out the AL for me. I was like, it don't matter. Y'all gonna lose. We don't finally beat the big bully. Man, you have no chance.
Yeah. I felt that way too. John, go ahead.
Yeah, it's tough to not say Acuna just because of everything he does, man. He's so exciting. I mean, everything. Defense, run the bases. I mean, but I think I'll go Michael Harris.
That was gonna be my. All right.
I love it.
I'll go Michael Harris. And then if we're going to go pitching staff, I'm going to go Chris Sale just because he is that guy. Because he's like my favorite of the big three growing up was John Smoltz. Like, and that's kind of like who he kind of reminds me of a little bit, kind of like that mentality. But but anyway, but Michael Harris, man, like just everything, personality, hilarious dude.
I was gonna say Michael Harris. Okay, so obviously Ronald Acuna would. I mean. Ronnie's enigmatic. Ronnie loves playing baseball, and it comes across, and you cannot watch him and not play baseball because he's infectious.
He got that aura, man.
Yeah, but with that being said, a couple of years ago when Michael Harris did that interview, like Super Troopers, where he was like meow, 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 he literally became my favorite. Dude, that was great. That was great. And if you guys haven't seen the interview, it's an interview with Michael Harris. And I guess it was on a dare, probably from Matzik, right? And if you see the movie Super Troopers, there's this interview where this guy's like meow, 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 everything. And so Michael Harris is answering this question. He's going meow. Yeah, I had a great day. Went 3 for 4. Yep, meow. and it's hilarious. I've never seen the Braves player do that, right? So I mean, I was like, wow, okay. He Michael Harris became my favorite that day. Like I thought that was hilarious. That the headbands, if you know the story of his best friend, I just a great guy. So I like him. I love Ronnie Acuna, but since you guys took them already, then I guess I'm gonna have to go with let's go with old steady Matt Olson. You know, Matt doesn't make a lot of noise. Nice guy, doesn't talk, steady. You know what I mean? Steady as a rock, just comes out, plays games, hits homers, does his thing. You know what I mean? So I'll throw it to Matt Olson. And then as far as the pitchers go, I mean, John took Chris Sale, so I'll go Strider. You know what I mean? And Strider, who is a very smart young man, by the way. If you talk to him, very smart dude. As far as his pitching approach, as far as physics are concerned, like if you talk to him, this dude is rocket scientist smart. So I'll go with Strider.
Can you imagine?
And for pitching, I would have to go with the SS Monte Carlo myself. I'm going with Spencer Swallenbach, somebody who came onto the scene and became one of our top pitchers last year. And to be honest with you, Mets, I want you to thank your lucky stars. Really, you should thank the hurricane, because honestly, you don't make the playoffs if that hurricane doesn't come through, because Swilly already took you down, and then you had Max Fried and Chris Sale on the way. So, you really should thank that hurricane for coming through and saving your season. But, since Swilly, man, I really like him a lot. Again, like we've already said, he has thousands of pitches, it seems like. And, also, too, like his family is pretty cool, actually. Like bet someone out of his family as well. They're pretty cool as well. Very supportive of him, as they should be. And they believe that he's going to do great things in a Braves uniform. And I love to hear it, because that's what we need. And I believe in him as well. So, yeah, man, Swelly, man, that's going to be my guy who, Chris Sale, of course, is a great one. And, of course, so is Spencer Strider. But, yeah, I'm going to go Swallenbach, man. I think he's going to do some things for us. And Smokes was very underrated, too, as far as that big three. He was very underrated. I was a Maddox guy. I don't know, just something about Mad Max. It was just something about him, not to take anything away from Glavine, who was also very, very great. But yeah, man, I used to like Greg Maddux, man. I really was.
It's hard. You're like, that's like picking your favorite kid or something. It's like those guys. Three legitimate number ones. Like, just you can't. There's not a wrong answer. There really isn't. But can you imagine though being like a fly on the wall for like just a conversation with Charlie Morton and Spencer Strider? Like those two guys. Like I love Charlie, but man, his interviews. Y'all seen his interview? Like. He is about the most, like, unless you were just a baseball pitching guy, your ass is falling asleep in 5 minutes. Because, and I love Charlie.
And I'll fall asleep listening.
He would get questions like, so it looked like your fastball wasn't working today. It'd be like, well, sit down, because about to tell you about why this fastball wasn't working, and in about 17 different languages, chemistry, physics, all of it combined together. And then, it's crazy, man. Kudos to him, man. He did it he's still doing it. But man, like we used to be just like, me and Liam would watch interviews like, wow, like this dude is like, it is so deep. Like he thinks about this shit deeply, and it was immediately following the game too. It's like, it's not even. And next day,
you talk about Strider, or you talk about Morton? You talk about Strider,
Morton.
Yeah.
No, but Strider's like, but he will do that too. Like Strider will like. I don't think he gets that like in depth, but it's
granular.
Yeah.
But Charlie old soul, man. Charlie old gunslinger, been around forever. Got millions of stories. He's like that uncle at the cookout. He's got a million of stories.
Yeah, he really does, bro. He is something, man. That's a lot of knowledge, man. I tell you what's interesting. You guys were talking about Smoltz and Maddox and Glavine. It's interesting that of all three of those pitching personalities, it was Tommy Glavine that pitched us in the World Series success that first time in '95, right?
Yeah.
And it could have been any one of them. Don't get me wrong, but Tommy got the ball that day, and Tommy said, "Hey, just give me one run," and he made that thing stick, man. He made that thing stick. So. Kudos to him. Tyler, we will get into Angel Perdomo and Buck Farmer in the bullpen. We'll get into that just a little bit later. So I don't want to. I'm not avoiding your question, but we will get back to that one. I promise you. So guys, let's get to something, TWill. Let's get to hanging with the GM. All right.
You're so much better with those than I was, dude. Like I would make them and never use them. We'd be like, dude, with the show, Mike. Like, we didn't use like half of those damn things.
Bro, let me tell you something. That comes. So it's probably a bunch of guys that I watched. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a lot of Dixon Way. Right. Yeah. I watched a lot of Bryce Lewis. I watched a lot of this guy down here beneath you, Mr. Chris A1. A lot of his videos, a lot of stuff. And I just kind of patterned myself after them. Dixon Way does 15 goddamn sports. But he's very organized, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Dixon Way is organized. And Dixon Way can be in the middle of a thought and come back to it. You know what I mean? Chris always has his stuff together. Chris knows what he's gonna say, and it is ready to go. And of course, I watch a lot of Jack Spade because I'm with Jack Spade.
Right.
So much so that every time I start my shows, I'm like, "Good morning, everybody." I hear Jack in my mind. Falcon fans. Like I just hear that, right? But Bryce,
shout out to Jack Spade, man. Shout out to
Jack Spade, man. But Bryce was the guy that used a lot of banners, John.
Mm-hmm.
So like every time Bryce would go to a different, so I got that from him because it just
it's good. No, dude, it's good. It makes sense. That's why I mean
I forget. You know what I mean? I forget where we are. Like I forget what we're talking about. So it helps bring me back to it. But thank you for that, John.
I mean I should have used it because Mike is my co-host. Like I've got to be like. I mean, halfway through the show, I'm like, shit, what are we talking about? Because we're talking about something totally different. So, I mean, like.
That's the greatness of Mike, though. You really look. All you gotta do is just go live, man. Mike
that
is
was it.
Mike is that dude, man.
I know.
Shout out to Mike, man. Wherever
shout out to Mike, man.
Shout out to Mike. I will ever have love for Mike. Shout out to Mike. All right, so hanging with the GM. Guys, yesterday on a show with myself and Debo Vibes, we got into payroll. And we got into where the Braves are and what they're trying to do, right? So right now the Braves so let's get into it, right? End of the season last year, Alex comes out, does an interview, right? Says 4 things. None of them come true, right? Hey, we're keeping our coaches. B, we're going to re-sign Travis DeArnaud. C, we're going to spend more. Our payroll is going to increase, right? So we fired our coaches. We didn't re-sign Travis DeArnaud. And our payroll to date has not increased. I think our payroll last year ended up being about 240-something million. Our cash outlay, or the cash that we were paying out, the cash that we're paying out now is 212 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
The threshold in baseball is based on your average annual value of your contract. So right now, our threshold number is 231 million. And I believe the first threshold is 241, right? So we are 10 million under that, right? So I bring it up to say that all offseason, myself, Chris, and John have been cussing behind closed doors because we were like, behind closed doors, God damn it, when is Alex going to spend some money? Okay? What the hell, Alex? What are you doing? Now, publicly, we would never say that, okay? But behind closed doors, we were a bit perturbed, okay? Now, Alex went out and got a left fielder, Jerickson Profar, which we sorely needed. And for me, I am okay. I am not ecstatic, but I am okay. But after hearing Alex's interview, I kind of understand a little bit what he's doing. I'm not saying I agree, but I understand. So, in his interview yesterday, he says, or whenever, he says, we got Ian Anderson, who's coming back from injury. We got Grant Holmes, who he really loves. Okay. We got AJ Smith-Shawver. Now, to get a decent pitcher now, a decent pitcher, a basic fourth starter, you're probably going to pay 15 to 20 million, right? That's
Right.
what you pay. Why do that if you can get the same performance from Grant Holmes and or Ian Anderson and or AJ Smith-Shawver? It just makes sense. Why? In other words,
You're
why,
probably going to have
why
to
do
throw
that?
Bryce Elder in there too, bro. I hate to say it.
I'm not
You're
even
probably
there.
gonna throw
Bro.
Bryce in.
I'm so over Bryce Elder.
I know you're not,
so
bro.
over. I'm so and no disrespect to Bryce. Look, I don't mean you any disrespect at all, Bryce. You pitch, I don't. You are a major league player. I'm not even a softball player. Hell, I wouldn't even make the team with all this elements I got with my body. But no, I'm off the Bryce train. I'm not even discussing Bryce. I'm not. Okay? I'm not even thinking about Bryce. Bryce has a permanent residence at Gwinnett as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Because this stuff doesn't play. And no disrespect to him. Okay?
Bryce said, I'm gonna bounce back too.
God help. If we get to Bryce, God help us.
No, look, yeah, he should be like he's the oh shit guy. Like oh,
he's our new Luke Jackson.
We gotta go to Bryce. Shit. I mean,
hey, you know that old meme of Denzel playing Michael Mick.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow, bro! If we get to Bryce, Chris, it's bad, bro. I'm just look, hey,
y'all clowning, bro.
Bryce is a nice guy. Okay, I don't have anything against him, but bro, no. Okay, like he would, like, bro, he would be the equivalent of a guy coming up the bat that you know is an automatic out. Like you just know. Like it's the ninth inning and you got nobody else. You're like, oh shit. Hey man, lean into one, all right? Just let it hit your arm. Okay? Just lean into one. All right? Because that's your only shot. You know this dude is not getting a hit. Okay? Bryce gets lit up like a Christmas tree at Macy's back in the day. All right? I know. Bryce, it's nothing personal. God, that sounds personal, but it's not. But I'm just
about to say
it does.
It sounds a little personal.
It does. Bryce did nothing to me, by the way. But I'm just, bro. All his starts, they start the same. So the first inning, he's all right. Then in the second inning, it's like a 3-run homer. By the time you get to the fourth inning, it's 6-0, and you don't know what the hell happened. And now you got to watch the Phillies kick our ass for the next.
And we haven't even got to the heart of our lineup yet.
Yeah, I'm scarred.
Oh God, Bryce watching this show right now. What did I do to him?
But we can't mention his name anymore. It's because it takes it off another direction. Like,
bro, it ain't happening no more.
It's a trigger for everybody.
I'm just over Bryce.
Hey,
look,
that's how Luke Jackson was for me. That's how Luke Jackson was for me.
Yeah. Luke. Well, no, Luke did have some success every now and then, right? Luke would Luke would try and give you a heart attack, right? So Luke would load the bases and then get out of it, or he'd get like second and third with one out and then get out of it, and then sometimes he wouldn't. But no, sir, Bryce is consistent. Okay, you put Bryce out there if you want to. You just guaranteed yourself that to be down 5-0 by the time you get to the fifth inning. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but it's gonna be that way, man.
Now, good Bryce, you know what I'm saying? Hey, but I mean, how often does good Bryce show up? I know
Bryce was good for half a year, and then they figured him out, and he didn't adjust, right?
Yeah.
Because look,
he had it until adjust.
Yeah,
his margin of error is so small too. Like, because he doesn't have that stuff, so like it's got to be like you're just painting, and you hope you're getting the calls, and if you're not,
right?
I mean, we saw it 6.5 ERA. So I mean,
that's tough, bro. That's another guy who was definitely on the hot seat this year for me. Like you got to show your worth, somehow, some way, or it's just like you cannot be in the Braves uniform. You just can't.
No, look, no. Like it's a couple of guys. Like who's that other one? Alan Winans. He's
No,
like a step away from Bryce. Like, because you
my
already
kid almost
know.
throws as hard as he does, man. Come on.
You already know, man. You see Allen Wine and you giving up 5 runs, bro. Hey, you better get your hidden shoes on that day. Like guys like Bryce and Winans, if you're going to deploy them, you have to do it against the 5th starter.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pitch them against somebody's number 1 because you're gonna get killed.
I forgot all about Winans. Why did you remind me about him, TWill? I forgot that man was even on the team.
Still hanging with the GM. What's going on?
No disrespect.
These are guys I don't want to see.
Yeah, I just remember the last time he was out there, and he did not have a good outing at all. It almost looked like he wasn't supposed to be out there. Like John said, he's like, "Come on, man, my kid throws harder than him."
Right there, lift that up. Give me the bag with him. So my daughter's in here. No, let me not that one. Here, no,
man. Dixon Way says Bryce Elder equals Desmond Ritter.
No, those are socks.
This show could go totally nuts.
No, look it. All right, so let's get back to being a Braves GM. So what I'm talking about is, guys, unless you go out and get a Dylan Cease or just take the white one, mine. Unless you go out and get a Dylan Cease, it's really not worth it from a starter's perspective because you're gonna get probably number 4, number 5 stuff from the guys that you got. Right now, if you can make the trade for Dylan Cease, by all means, make it.
By all means. But honestly, if we get Dylan Cease, I'm sticking my chest out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm already believing in the Braves. If we get healthy, we'll have one of the best lineups and just one of the best teams in baseball. But you get in Dylan Cease, and I'm like, what y'all say, Dodgers? Who want to play what? I'm just saying, bro. Like. That'll make you like stick out your chest a little bit more, man, with a little bit more confidence with the returning Strider, with Swelly, you know what I'm saying, taking the jump, with possibly AJ or one of the other guys, you know what I'm saying, as well, Chris Sale coming back. You know, you have some things that you can be like, Braves, y'all doing some things over there. But I totally get what Alex is doing. Again, TWill, I'm with you. Do I agree? That could be another thing. But I see what you're doing, and I believe that they're just trying to restart that luxury tax over. For the following year. I believe that's what we do. Unless Dylan Cease, you know what I'm saying, can fit within our budget, I think we're going to roll with our guys and possibly see what we have. It's going to be similar. This year is going to be similar to how maybe 2022 was for the Falcons and how we signed a bunch of guys. You know, I'm thinking about those minor league deals that we signed. And we signed a bunch of guys and trying to see, we're going to throw a bunch of guys off of the wall to see who sticks. And the guys who just don't stick, well, okay, we know what we need to do in that regard. And the guys who do, let's give them another opportunity. You know, kind of like promoting from within sometimes.
Yeah, agreed. John?
Yeah, I mean, I echo what you guys say. I mean, like, there's no point. Like, we know AA and is all about value. And so if you can you got a way, like, is Grant Holmes going to give me, or would Dylan Cease, whoever the case may be, well, Dylan Cease is a little different. But if another 4 or 5 guys, is he going to give me exponentially more than what Grant Holmes is going to give me, or Ian Anderson? Like, unless that's a definitive yes, then no, you don't do that because you're wasting probably assets and money. So you hope that, and like you said, like AA mentioned Grant by name at his press conference. He was like, I think Grant can be that next guy. So I mean that says a lot. So so it's he can go in there and take that job. And right. And we talked about it last week too. Well, like, I really want to believe Ian changed his number back to 48. So, I mean, he, you never know. Maybe that's, in his head now. But, I mean, I want to believe that he can come out there and be that, the 5th guy.
I'm hoping
but
go ahead, John.
No, I just hope he can positively contribute this year and whatever. But will it be a long guy starter? I know they hope he's a starter. But yeah, and then I don't know. Just side note, y'all see that Red Sox are looking at Cease. Like,
I did see something like that. I didn't know if it was a rumor because I didn't click on it, but I know
I've seen like several different people are saying like, they're looking at a big trade. So I don't know.
Bro, if the Red Sox get Cease, that's Cease and Garrett Crochet. Like, watch out. Like that's. Although, look it. Even if the Braves don't get Cease, if you got Sale and Strider and Raylo and Schwelly, you can take it to the mat with anybody. And that's the thing, guys. Even if we don't make a move,
we still good money.
We're good.
Right. And people can't forget too, like down to in the middle of the season before the trade, there's going to be teams unloading good pitchers.
Yes.
Like we don't know we don't know who that's going to be right now. Like it's not like it's Cease or nothing. It's not like we're Cease or we're screwed. Like we're probably not going to make a play for a starter at this point, right? I mean, the spring training has already started, but into the season, something happens, or just hey, we're competing and somebody wants to unload a guy, then we go grab him, and that's cool. But yeah, did y'all see Rafael Devers' interview yesterday? And they asked him about if he wanted to.
He said he wasn't going to DH.
Dude, it was y'all got to watch the video because like they just asked him, they're like, so you want to if they came to you and said if you could DH, would you do it? No.
Yeah.
that was like just no.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
No.
He was like, no, I'll play third. And I'm like, man, I don't guess that was discussed before Alex Bregman was brought in there. So I don't know what they're going to do with that mess, but that's a them problem.
That's
it really is. It really is. Should Goldilocks be starter in the bullpen? I say starter.
Yeah, I'm going starter. If you're talking about Captain Mullet, yeah, starter for sure.
Starter.
Wait,
I mean, my thing is the guy likes him.
Or is he talking about AJ? Is he talking about AJ or Mullet? Which one?
I think he's talking about Holmes.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
I thought Holmes was Captain Mullet. Okay, all right, good deal.
Oh, he's
I don't know. Maybe he called him Goldilocks. You know, you gotta be careful. Dixon got his own nicknames for players. Okay, like the greatest name that I've heard is still Cardio Goat, and I just can't unsee it.
All right.
Oh, you know what? And then
Tyler Garrison Matthews.
Tyler said that Winans got DFA'd last month. That's right. He did get DFA'd. So yeah.
Oh, okay. We don't have to.
That's what I was like. Good, respectfully.
Good deal. I'm again, I'm not even going to go there. All right. So, guys, there's a name out there, right? David Roberts, who's 37, 38, Georgia boy, or at least from the South. I think he would be a great addition to our bullpen. He has closed. I think he would be outstanding. I'd like to get your because to me, the only position we haven't replaced is Jimenez, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, Roberts would be that piece. But give me your thoughts on him,
Chris.
That's tough. I think I see where you're going with it. Like you said, for Jimenez, I look at it like this, man. If the Braves want an extra arm, I think we need honestly an extra 2 arms anyway. So if the Braves wanted to do that, I think it could be a good move. Honestly, like we've seen the Braves make moves that are less sexy, you know what I'm saying, and it work out. Like I still expect Jesse Chavez to be back with the Braves sometime this year. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just saying he does terrible everywhere.
He does do that. Yeah, he does.
So I'm honestly like somewhere in mid-season, I'm looking for Braves have brought back Jesse Chavez, and that's going to be another person in your bullpen who is used to the team. The team is used to him. He knows what it is to be a Brave. I'm honestly expecting us to pick him up in mid-season again.
It's like a 17 ERA.
Yeah,
you're right. And then he comes here and then pitches lights out.
Do you guys think that's intentional? Like, it would have to be for me. But what? It's
crazy, man.
It's a crazy stat. That's just a crazy stat. Like everywhere he goes.
Yeah, but I think it's a comfortability thing. Like he's like that matters. Like the guys you're around, the staff, the coach, like all that stuff. I think he's just comfortable. And it's like, dude, you're eventually going to like. I mean, you throw 90 and 89 and 88, like it's not getting any faster. And I mean, you're not getting any younger. So like, but hey, but the thing is, he knows how to pitch though. Like
he does know how to pitch.
So,
and he knows how to sequence.
So, exactly.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. I think they're actually holding a spot for him. Like, all right, Jesse, we'll see you mid-season. I say you take care now. We'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, and I mean, and this the bullpen in general. Like these young guys, I think they want somebody to step up this spring. A couple of guys, I think, whether it's like dude Buck Farmer, Perdomo, like that Perdomo would be our third lefty, I think. Yeah. But if he made it, so I mean that'd be awesome to have that option there. But I mean, I think that's I'm not opposed to Day Rob. I mean, like if they want to go out and bring him in, probably for a year at his age, I would assume year two at the max. Because I don't know that it's. I mean, Jimenez, that's a tough one to replace. I mean, that's you just gotta hope that a couple of guys step up. And I mean, for me personally, like every time I turned on, if I wasn't watching it and he was in there pitching, it went wrong. So I stopped doing it. Anytime Joe Jimenez was in, I wouldn't watch.
Watching it, okay.
It was every time. Every time. He pitched really well last year.
That's crazy.
I had to do that for the best of the team, So.
Hey, man. You got to sacrifice for the team. We appreciate your contributions, John, always.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are at the point in the show called That's Cap, which is a play on words. It's a kind of a double entendre, but essentially it is a true or false statement or statements about the Braves, and you guys have to tell me if it's true or not. So, for the first edition of That's Cap, did the Braves ever have a Hall of Fame third baseman to play left field for at least one season because we signed a third baseman to help on offense? In their history.
That's true.
The Atlanta Braves.
That's true.
That
sounds like Chipper.
Chipper Jones. That's right. So Chipper Jones was the third baseman that went to left field. Who was the third baseman they signed?
Man.
Who was the third baseman that they signed? That's a good one. All right, let's see.
I should know that.
Chipper left field. Third baseman was just go ahead.
His name starts with a V.
Oh, Vinny Castilla?
Vinny Castilla.
That's right.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the last name. But you said Vinny. I remember Vinny, but good pull, John. Good pull.
That is correct. Okay, so for our next That's Cap question, this Atlanta Braves pitcher was once late to a game in which he was pitching because he got lost on 285. Did this happen? Yes or no?
100% true. And I can't.
It did happen. Okay. And who was the pitcher? I'll give you a hint. His name starts with a P.
Man. Who was it? I was totally blanking on it.
I believe it's
Pascual Perez. Yes,
Pascual Perez. Yeah.
Yes, Pascual
Got
Perez.
lost on 285. Driving
he kept going
around,
in circles.
Driving in circles.
Literally.
I thought that was great, man. I was like, oh my God, who does that? Can you imagine? And I think, was Bobby Cox's
Bobby
name?
was, yeah.
Oh
Bobby.
my God. I know Bob. Oh my. Now, let me tell you something. Bobby was nice in front of the camera, but oh man. Oh, I know Bobby went off. I know Bobby went off. I know he did. I can just imagine. All right. One more edition of That's Cap. This Hall of Fame left fielder could have been an Atlanta Brave. Some say he is the all-time home run king. It came down to choosing this left fielder or Greg Maddux to sign. Is it true or not? And who is it?
Barry Bonds.
It is Barry Bonds. That is correct. And it is true, right? So the Braves, the offseason that in 1992, the season that they signed Greg Maddux, they were rumored to sign Barry Bonds, which quite candidly, I don't think that would have worked because Barry Bonds and Bobby Cox, I don't think that would have worked.
Probably not.
Those two personalities, I don't think that would have worked.
Yeah, younger Barry too. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked. But the Braves almost signed Barry Bonds. That is true. So you guys are correct, and that is our edition of That's Cap. Thank you both for participating.
Oh yeah, Falcon Commander said Torrey was the manager at 82 when Pascal got lost.
Oh, Torrey
So
was okay.
Yeah, this was before that. Yeah.
Oh, Joe Torre?
Yeah, thank you, Falcon.
yeah.
Well, Torrey probably took it a little easy because Bobby would have gone off. Now, Torrey probably was still mad, but I promise you, Bobby would have gone off.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby would have gone digital. Okay?
I miss seeing guys get thrown out like that, man. Like I used to love watching Bobby get thrown out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of the game, man. Like they can't even argue anymore without getting. You know what I mean?
I know it, man. Everybody's so sensitive nowadays, boy. Bobby would get thrown. It's funny if you look at the old. There's a show with Chipper, Greg Maddox, John Smoltz, Tommy Glavine, and Bobby, where Chipper's talking about a time Greg set Bobby up. Greg told Bobby something wasn't true or whatever, just so Bobby could go and get kicked out. And man, that was a great story. You guys got to watch those. Those are great stories. Yeah, man, good deal. All right, so now we are in the segment called In the Bullpen. And guys, look it. We basically have 5 positions that are already identified, right? So we have 3 remaining. And this goes to the gentleman's question of Buck Farmer and or Perdomo. So right now in our bullpen, we got Iglesias, we got Pierce Johnson, we got Daysball Hernandez on the right side. We got Aaron Bummer and Dylan Lee on the left side. And Dixon Way says John Rock.
Wow.
No, that's a different edition of that Cap Dixon Way.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. So look at guys. That leaves us with 3 positions left in the bullpen, right? We got Angel Perdomo. We got Buck Farmer. We got Chase and Shreve. Of Angel and Chasen, Angel has the best stuff.
He's massive too.
I
like
believe
6'8".
Yeah, I believe you said he's what?
He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's big ass dude.
Crap.
Big ass dude. Yeah.
Holy, that's a lot coming at you. So
Yeah.
that's like Randy Johnson. That's like Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson was like 6'8", right?
Randy Johnson was 6'10".
I was about to say, I think he was taller than that.
Yeah, Angel Perdomo.
Randy Johnson could play center.
Angel Perdomo is 6'8", 265.
Let me tell you something.
Hey, maybe he can play edge. Can he play edge?
Yeah.
We need somebody to get after the quarterback now.
Hey, maybe we can bring back some 2-sport athletes. But let me tell you something.
There we go.
I never wanted to face Randy Johnson. Because first of all, he was 3/4, right? So if you are a left-handed hitter, I would be scared shitless. Because Randy threw about 98 miles an hour, right? Randy was 6'10". With that reach of his arm, like it's halfway to first base, right? The ball's literally coming from first base, and it's coming at you. There's this, I don't know if it was an all-star game or whatever, but he's facing John Kruk. And John Kruk just like turns his head back, was like, dude, you got it. Like, I want no part of this. Randy Johnson, for my generation, was the most intimidating pitcher.
Without a doubt.
That let me tell you, Randy Johnson scared the shit out of me. I don't know who it is nowadays for you guys, but for me, if I was a hitter, if I'm facing Randy, I'm sitting down. Hey, bro, you got it. I'm not even swinging. I'm not even lifting that bat. You know what I mean? Robert Blackman says, ask the bird that Randy hit. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a true story.
Right.
Randy Johnson actually killed a bird. In spring training game. I guess the bird just decided to fly across the plate, and Randy killed him.
That bird did some bad shit in his previous life.
I'm trying to tell you because like you said, he exploded. The bird exploded. That was 100 miles an hour.
Bro, I've never seen that. Let me tell you something. 2 guys, I'd say it's probably of all of the MLB pitchers that I can think of, the 2 guys that I probably would fear. One is Randy Johnson, and the other is Ryan. Old dude, Ryan. Golly, Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. Yeah. I won't know. Nolan Ryan can probably still throw 90 miles an hour, and he's like 70, 80. I mean, that is honestly, Nolan Ryan probably threw 100 miles an hour.
He did
before the clock,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Well, him and Bob Gibson also. Now, you guys, I'm going way back, but if you guys know who Bob Gibson was, just me.
Mhm.
Like this is from back in the day. Like if you hit 2 home runs off a pitcher, that you just you getting popped that next one just because you did it.
Right.
You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to show out. You didn't have to stare at him. The fact that you hit 2 home runs, especially against Mr. Bob Gibson, you was gonna wear one, buddy, because he was gonna make you think if right.
If you ever look at his, not to get off topic, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
If you look at Bob Gibson's stat, like this, 255 complete games.
That's crazy.
Complete game. Started 482 and he completed 255.
That's like half
3,884 innings pitched, 2.91 ERA with a 1.188 WHIP. Insane.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Insane.
That was the guy that says, "I really do believe in finishing what I start."
9-time All-Star, 2-time Cy Young, 9-time Gold Glove, and
that dude was mean.
What I remember,
Bob Gibson was mean. Okay.
He was one of my dad's favorite pitchers.
I'll tell you something. I love Ronald Acuna, but
Oh, he'd have been drilled over and over and over again.
Oh heck yeah! Ronald would have had to fight.
Oh, it would have been a fight. And I don't know that Ronnie. Let me tell you something. I don't know that Ronnie would have won. I'm not saying
I didn't say he was gonna win. I said he was gonna have to fight.
It would have been a fight. Okay, it would have said something.
Sometimes you got to go into a fight even knowing you're gonna lose and just see what happens.
Hey man, let me tell you something. Hey, what you remember that one with Nolan Ryan where this guy charged him out? And
Robin Ventura.
All right, let's go. And Nolan proceeded to whoop that ass.
Yeah. I think they still celebrate it. It's Robin Ventura Day. They still celebrate that in Texas.
Yeah. Nolan was not that dude to be played with, man. Anyway.
Hey, real quick, just on the subject, what do y'all think about dang, what's his name? Is it Don Drysdale?
Don Drysdale?
Yeah. Drysdale. Yeah, Don Drysdale. I couldn't remember. That's what it is. That's why I couldn't find him. I was putting the name in wrong. But yeah, Drysdale. That was another guy who they said, wasn't no pushover. So another guy. Yeah, Drysdale. Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Back in the day. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say to your question about like guys I didn't want to face. Dang, man, it's a lot of good guys to be honest with you, but I'm gonna go with like a guy like Pedro Martinez.
Oh yeah, Pedro was nasty.
Yeah, man, I can go with honestly somebody who I thought was underrated, and I used to hate him so much because he was on a team that I hated so much. But Andy Pettit.
Yeah, I hated Andy Pettit. Roger Clemens is a good one. Now, the thing about Roger Clemens, and this is,
I almost went Roger.
This is what is kind of heartbreaking. Roger Clemens threw 98, but he pitched.
Oh, he did.
Was a pitcher, and he didn't have to cheat, right? Like I personally feel like Roger and Barry should be in the Hall of Fame anyway. That's just me. You can feel how you want to feel, but Roger Clemens was doing it way back when. He was throwing 95, 96, 98 on the corner, in and out, up and down, throwing dots. And you're right. I did not. Yeah, man. Although, I mean, again, Roger was that dude, but Randy Johnson was he was mean. He was 6'10", and man, if that pitch got in on you, because it looked different coming out of his hand. It just looked different. You know what I mean?
They called the man the big unit.
Yeah, man, that dude was.
Well, by the time he released the ball, it was 50 feet instead of 60 feet. It was coming at 100 miles an hour.
Dude, I look.
Man, bro, like, what are we doing? This is like, come on now. Hey, I know. Of course, I wasn't around. I don't think any of us really was around when he pitched. But has anybody went back and like just seen tape on Sandy Koufax?
Oh yeah,
I heard he was great. I heard he was great. You're talking about the black and white days, but Sandy Koufax is one of the best. He's a lefty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They called him the left arm of God or something like that.
Yeah. No, he was Sandy Koufax, first ballot Hall of Famer, man. Outstanding, great pitcher. I think he had a curveball, right? Did he have he had a curveball, right? I think it was one of his pitches, but just phenomenal, man. Just phenomenal. But yeah, All right, so let's get back to our bullpen, guys. We got Angel Perdomo, we got Chase and Shreve, we got Buck Farmer. And the Braves, the Braves have signed at least 10 or 12 pitchers, and either they're coming back from injury, or maybe they got something that where, there's a little wrong with them, but they think they can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you could look, Perdomo, I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Perdomo throws gas and he gets strikeouts.
Yeah.
He gets strikeouts. I'm excited about him. Chase and Shreve throws weird stuff. That's it. It's gonna sound funny, but he throws a splitter, which nobody throws from the left side, and I think he throws some sort of funky sweeper. So just that combination could be, I don't know, funky or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, for this left-handed position, you're looking at a third lefty who's not going to be in high leverage situations, right? So your high leverage situations are probably going to be Bummer and Dylan, or maybe either
Pierce
Dylan and Bummer or Bummer and Dylan, right?
Yeah, Pierce will be probably your eighth guy, right?
Yeah.
Eighth inning. Yeah.
So you said Pierce will be your eighth guy?
That's what I'm guessing. Seventh to eighth, maybe.
I don't know how I feel about Pearson at eighth. I'd rather.
Well, he just has to use his fastball more, because I mean, 80% curve, like that's way too much. Like you just sit back and wait on it. I mean, and his fastball has life. It's 95, 96. Like use it.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's so. And I think he even said he had more success when he was going to that later in the season, because his August and September was terrible.
Yeah.
But that was mainly why, because he was throwing 80% curveballs. So, but
yeah. Yeah, I think the Braves increased his usage, but to your point, John, there's got to be balance.
Yeah.
I would feel better with a David Robertson. Now, with that being said, I mean, Pierce Johnson does have an exceptional curveball. Mm-hmm. It is exceptional, right? And David Robertson has an exceptional curveball. I would feel good if we signed somebody like a Robertson, just because you kind of take the pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you sign Robertson, you get Perdomo, and then maybe. I mean, you can look at Buck Farmer. Now, Buck Farmer's numbers were good.
That's the guy who I'm high on, actually. Buck Farmer.
Yeah, they were good. And Dixon Way says he's sad that that AJ wasn't re-signed. Only thing about it, Dixon Way, when you're talking about a hip, like, you just never know. You know what I mean?
Rough, yeah.
Hips and shoulders kind of scare me. Right.
Same thing with Tyler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Magic,
Yeah.
Look at it.
Like, kind of scare me. And look at if AJ was healthy, I have no doubt the Braves would have re-signed him. But it's just with that hip, you just never know, man.
Same thing with Kyle Wright. Why we had to trade Kyle Wright? I mean, we just didn't know.
Yeah, he
was out for such a lengthy amount of time too.
Well, no, when that shoulder goes, there's nothing you can do about that. Like a ligament in an elbow, you can fix that. That shoulder, that's going to be a perpetual issue, and you just never know. Yeah, you just never know. So, but yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on the bullpen? Look, we got Perdomo, we got Chasen, we got Buck Farmer, we got a bunch of guys coming out of the bullpen. We got Anderson Pilar, who is a Rule 5 draft pick that we got from the Marlins. This guy throws gas, right? And the reason I say he has at least somewhat of an advantage is if we can't use him, if he doesn't make the major league squad, we got to give him back to the Marlins, and they give us $50,000. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine the Braves would probably be interested to see what he could do and at least try and keep him. We signed Jake Diekman, who is a lefty sidewinder.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan Covey, right? But honestly, of all of those guys we signed, I'm really looking at Perdomo and maybe and Buck Farmer, to be honest with you. But John, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I like Perdomo a lot because you said the stuff itself, big dude, imposing guy. Like he's just, as long as he can, he's not all over the place. As long as he can locate, good shape. Buck Farmer, he's interesting, man. He had a good season with Cincinnati, but like he doesn't do anything exceptional, which is kind of weird. Like he just, you expect him to have like something that's just like amazing, but it's like ground ball rate's not that high, strikeout rate's not that high, but he gets outs and his ERA is low. It's like, all right. I mean,
he's weird. He's like Dylan Lee, right? So when you look at Dylan Lee throws about 92, 93 miles an hour. Dylan Lee should get lit up.
You would think.
But he doesn't. Dylan Lee gets strikeouts. His stuff plays. It's weird. It is weird.
I don't know if you listened to the Braves today where Lindsey was talking about the all-time leader in whiff rates for pitches out of the strike zone is Dylan Lee.
I did not.
I'm talking about all time. Like,
that's
that
crazy.
is insane.
As far as Braves or MLB?
MLB all the time.
Wow.
To get guys a whiff at balls out of the strike zone, Dylan Lee #1.
So they have to look, the ones out of the strike zone and the one in it has to look similar. It would have to look similar. I mean that would
it's gonna be so deceiving. It's like, oh, this is gonna be it's just so wild to me. Like, what? Like, you'd never like that. Nobody would ever guess that in 1,000 years. Like, because like he's with names like Eric Gagne is like the next guy. Like like legendary type bullpen guys. It's like, what? So
that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But I mean, Dylan Lee can do it, man. His stuff plays, right? I mean, we've seen it over the last 3, even last year. And I focused on Dylan Lee last year because I'm like, this guy only throws 92. Why is he in here in the 8th? And he's getting outs. He is getting out. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'd take Dylan over Pierce. I'd rather.
I would too in the 8th. In the 8th for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd take Dylan over Pierce. You know, but that's weird, right? So maybe
Dylan surprised me a lot.
You said what, Chris?
No, I said Dylan had surprised me a lot. There was a lot of times I thought that he was going to get creamed, and he did not. So.
Right. Yeah, and let me tell you something, man. Dylan has some cojones, you know, because again, dude, man, 92, 93 getting outs, just doing his thing. So, hey, man, great pitcher. Maybe Buck Farmer has that in him. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because his name is Buck, and maybe it sounds kind of tough or something. I don't know, but I really think that him coming home because he's from Conyers. I believe him coming home is going to benefit him being around family, being close to the house and everything. I know he has like 4 pitches, 4-seam, changeup, sinker, slider. That changeup, if he can really stay with command on that, I think that's going to help a lot. And to be honest with you guys, I think you can bring him in 7th, 8th, somewhere in that area. We'll see. You know, guys are going to audition for innings, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think Buck Farmer's going to come in here and we're going to be a pleasant surprise, man. I really do. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't know if it's just the name, but when I seen Buck Farmer to the Atlanta, I was like, that bullpen man just got a little strong.
I think it did. I think you're right. I agree with you 100%. Let's go to our next segment, which is In the Field. And guys, specifically when it pertains to this, I really want to talk about 2 things. Number 1, Jared Kelenic. Why tell us now that he was injured? Like, I really like that kind of, I mean, you know, it's just kind of so random. Just, oh, by the way, you know, I was injured last year. Give me your thought on what Jared's trying to do there. And Chris, let's start with you. Give me your thoughts. What do you think Jared's trying to do here?
I mean, you can think maybe he's trying to build a narrative to saying, hey, look, you guys haven't seen my best stuff. You know what I'm saying? I do have another level that I can go to. And, you kind of seen it because I was batting 300. And then my thing is, if my oblique hurts, when I turn to swing, that hurts. If my wrist hurts, when I try to get that torque on it, I feel it in my wrist and I almost want to drop the bat. I don't think people realize that when you can't use something 100%, that matters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, if your wrist hurts, you can barely pick up a carton of milk. You know what I'm saying? Your wrist not working. And if you're obliques, anytime you turn, it's like somebody stabbing you with a samurai sword.
Yeah.
So it's just like, those things are significant injuries for the sport he plays. So I'm thinking that all Jared is trying to do is let Braves fans and just people in the MLB just say, hey, look, I was on a roll. I got hurt. I played through it. You know, and I believe in this team. I believe in what they're trying to do. And you guys are going to see a better Jared this year as long as I stay healthy. I think he's just trying to build a narrative for himself because he knows he's on the hot seat as well. It's a lot of guys that don't came in here that are better than him that are and play positions he can't play, do things he can't do. if he can build that narrative to say, hey, look, keep your eye on me this year because I'm going to be healthy this year. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Okay, good deal, John.
Yeah, I mean, I question like who is he telling? Is he telling just because the team's going to know, right? I mean, the doctor, team trainers, like we know you were hurt. Like why? So you're saying it publicly because you want the fans to know? You know, like it's like because they're not making any decisions on you, like if you're going to start or play anymore or not. But no, it's just but it's I think it's just he probably debated on it all year, all off season. Like, should I say something? Should I say something? Should I tell him I was hurt? Should I tell him I was hurt? And then it finally was like, yeah, I was hurt. But because you just it's like you want the fans to know like I didn't just suck on purpose, like I didn't just fall off. There was a reason behind it, but I didn't want to say it at the time because I didn't want people to think I was making excuses.
Right.
It's like, but it's like I don't know if there's ever really a good time because now it just seems like you said, TWill, it's like, damn, now you're saying it like the start of the next season.
Did you watch the Kirk Cousins interview? That's what you always want to say.
Right. Like, did that go well for Kirk? No, not at all. So but it's I mean, hell, we ain't paying him a tenth of what we're paying Kirk. So it's but yeah, no, I think it's just like A1 said, man, just to kind of let whoever wants to know, whether it be other GMs or whatever, that hey, this was just I was hitting really good, and then all of a sudden it fell off because this is why. But so if I start hitting good again, that's the real me. It wouldn't wouldn't hurt guy. So
that part.
Yeah.
There. Right. I agree with that. I think that was a shout out. I think Jared probably took a look around. Let me see. We got Jared's profile. We got Michael Harris. We got Ron Acuna. Don't look like it's going to be a whole lot of playing time for me. I'm just going to put this out there, just in case. Let's get ahead of it. Just in case, I don't know. Alex wants to trade me or something. Hey, I was hurt last year. My oblique, my wrist. You know what I mean? The dude you saw in June, that's me. That's Jared, baby. Okay, so I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Just thought you guys should know. Maybe and again, we don't know. We're not in Jared's head, but it kind of sounds that way. Mm-hmm. So also, the Braves have come out and said that Eli White, our backup outfielder, will exclusively concentrate on infield duties in spring training. What do you guys think about that? And what do you think could be the catalyst for this? Like, what's the cause of this? John, let's start with you.
Not a damn clue. I mean, it really makes no sense to me. Like,
I'm sitting over here like
I don't. I mean, you want to have guys. I mean, your utility guys are super important, right? You want to have guys that can do as much as possible. You don't have, and that doesn't really exist that much anymore in baseball, where you could bring in a guy that can literally play almost any position. Like, it doesn't really exist. Right. Maybe, I mean, like with some of the injuries Ozzy's had over the years, and I don't know, man. I don't know, because you would think it would be one of those type of positions, not necessarily first, obviously. Although first would be the easiest position to play if you're going to like stick them out there. I don't know. I just more maybe just to get him some more reps and see what he's capable of at that in that infield position.
Right.
I don't know.
Chris, what say you?
I'm kind of like John, man. I don't know what in the world that's supposed to do anything for him. I mean, is he going to take somebody else's spot? Like, I mean, what, Arcia? I don't see that. I mean, I know I don't even really know what his bat is like just yet, to be honest, like on a consistent basis too. So it's like maybe they're just working the guy out just to see, let's see where we can use you. Maybe it's something like that. Just, just kind of like dotting I's and crossing the T's just to see if any injuries, God forbid. Honestly, I think the Braves need a season where they don't have any injuries after what we went through last year. But still, it's just like maybe that's what it is. Just trying to see where can we use you when your name is called. Where can we put you? Maybe it's something just like that. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two scenarios, and again,
okay.
My brain is a little off the beaten path. I feel like I should let you guys know that my wife tells me is you can see with all these computers in the back. If I wasn't a technician, I would be a serial killer. That's what she says all the time. I don't know that I agree with her, but whatever. So I say that to say that my brain is all over the place. Okay, just all over the place. What if you're trying to trade Eli and you want to get value for him, so you showcase him? He can already play any outfield spot. He's as fast as they come. Great base runner, and play any outfield spot. But what if you want to showcase his infield exploits because you want to package him with another trade? Say, I don't know, with Jared Kelnick for, I don't know, Dylan Cease maybe. Then you would do that, right? That's one. And again, it's a little out there. The other one is if you wanted to keep Brian De La Cruz, because he does have 30 home run power. He did it before. If you wanted to keep him, if you wanted to keep him, then you could, if Eli can get his weight up in the infield, if he can at least play second, short, and third, maybe a little first, then you now have justification, because Eli can he's not going to forget how to play the outfield, but he can do both. Maybe. Those are the only two reasons that I, in my mind that's all over the place, could fathom as to why you would do that, because you have a litany of infielders that you already signed. You have a bunch of folks that's going right to Gwinnett that you can just cherry pick from. Why take him and put him in the infield unless something's up? So
he did play infield at Clemson in college. And he has 4 career starts at second base in the majors. And this is just from an article. This is from Justin Toscano for the AJC last year in September. I guess he did an interview with him, and he said that he'd asked him about why he keeps an infield glove with him, actually, still. And he said, I guess it's sometimes that you never know what's going to happen. He's always like having it because I like taking ground balls sometimes, even though I wasn't playing infield. I get out there and take ground balls some days. When I was at AAA, knowing that infield was in the past, it was always a thing that if something were to happen, I knew I might be a guy that could fill that role. So there you go. Maybe they see if he still has that.
You said what?
Maybe see if he still has that infield. Yeah.
All right. Hey, could be. Could be. You never know. Well, guys, we've talked about just about everything. We've gotten into who our backup closer could be. I don't know that we necessarily have one. So, maybe we can focus on that in weeks to come. But this is going to bring our show to a close. John and Chris, thank you so much, guys. This was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I am looking forward to doing this every Wednesday morning at 8:45. Chris, tell these fine folks where they can find you, man.
Hey, man, first and foremost, thank you guys for the invite. This was, very great to do. I know we did something last week and it just, we threw it off the wall and it stuck, right? So I'm glad, so we was able to come together again. I know we're all busy doing different things, but we was able to come here and talk Braves, Thank you to everybody in the chat who comes through all the time supporting, we always appreciate you guys. But A1 Forever Sports, man, that's the platform on YouTube. Please come over, like, comment, and subscribe, and be a part of the A1 movement, the A1 family. Also, come on over to Hawks Digest. You can also catch me over there as well. We just eclipsed 1,000 subs
in a
month time. Yes, and it's crazy, man. In a month's time. So it's just we thankful to people over there and thankful to people in the chat like you guys who decided to come over there and show love over there as well. So definitely appreciate you guys there, man. I have some other things working on in the background. We'll see what happens in the near future with that too. But hey, TikTok, I'm back on TikTok, man. The real A1 Forever on there. Twitter, A1 Forever. Instagram, A1 Forever. Hey, man, thank you guys, man. It's always a pleasure working with you guys, man.
Hey man,
Love it,
we're
man.
glad to have you, buddy. And hey, look, this is a dream team, man. This is a dream scenario. This is something I always wanted to do. I can't do anything but thank God that the convergence of circumstances came together to where we could make it happen, gentlemen. Hey man,
Love it.
I'm happy this morning. I'm excited. And look, Chris, I'm looking forward to doing this all season long. So just know, hey man, you're getting that invite every Wednesday morning around 8:15, 8:30. Mr. John from Out of Your Falcon Mind, a man who needs no introduction. Okay, we're talking about a podcasting legend, but tell these folks about you. Tell them where they can still find you, man. And yeah, man, I'm just excited. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, man. I can still find me tweeting about the Falcons on Out of Your Falcon Mind on. Oh, that's actually Out of Your effing mind on Twitter. it works both ways, but because that's so many letters you can fit on Twitter, so I had to work that way. And my personal Twitter account is at JBH311. I am on TikTok and doing mostly fitness and like dog stuff. My dog's typically on there sometimes, so that's the at Whiskey Fit Life on TikTok. And yeah, that's it. So I mean, keep your eyes posted on like I said, we're doing this. I'm putting this out on Out of Your Falcon Mind just in case there are Braves fans that want to come over and watch it. If y'all are great, make sure y'all subbed up to both of these guys' channels. And then I know after last week I got messages saying, "Oh, are y'all coming back? And I have no idea. So we still don't know. If this works great because it's mornings, like my evenings now are just insane. So like it's and so but like I've said before, like with Mike and I, if we can make it work in the fall, then that's what we're going to try to do is come back, but we don't know yet. So it's still up in the air. But I know we definitely appreciate y'all. We love all the comments and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to try to make it happen. But TWill, this is awesome, dude. Thanks for the invite to do the show and the opportunity to do it. Because like I said, I've been wanting to talk Braves for a while. So this is awesome, buddy.
Hey man, I love it, and I'm just so glad that I feel blessed and lucky that you guys were able to join me, man. Look at you. Hey, you guys are an all-star cast. I'm just the usher at the door. So hey, I appreciate you guys joining me. I'm happy to be here, man. I'm just happy to be in the big leagues with y'all.
Hey, good hell of a job, buddy. Because I told you last week, man, the hosting shit's no joke, man. Like it's
not. Hey man, look, we get to talk about three of my favorite teams, man. Okay, so I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that in and of itself is the reward. The fact that we get up here and talk about the Braves, the Hawks, the Falcons, three teams I followed since I was 7 years old. I'm not going to tell you how old I am now, but let's just say it's over half a century. Look it, man, it's a reward in and of itself. Guys, if you like the show, please. I'm sorry, John, you about to say something? Go ahead, brother.
I was meant to say he would beat me up if I didn't. Liam did say he would like to come on the show at some point this summer.
Of course.
So, when he's out of school, he can come on and talk some pitching.
When's the next time he's out of school?
Get that future Braves on here.
He's actually out this week, but he's asleep since he threw a bullpen last night and he's tired. But he'll be out again.
Is he out? Is he out Friday?
Yeah, he's out this Friday.
Maybe we can do. Oh, wait a minute! I gotta think of who all I have.
But he'll be out. Spring break is next month, or so he'll be out again. He'll be out for another week. So,
how about tomorrow? Because I'm doing a show tomorrow anyway. I could expand it a bit though, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to come on tomorrow, I'd love to talk pitching with Liam. I would love to do that.
I'll ask him. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So
I'll let you know. Yeah.
I'll send you the details tonight, John.
Okay.
And if it can happen, fine. If it can't, I get it, bro.
Yeah.
But hey, man, look, anytime Liam wants to come on, talk pitching, love it.
Yeah.
Anytime.
He started working on a sinker last night. It was pretty fun. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many does he have now? How many pitches does he have now?
That would be his fourth if he can get it. And it was funny because he actually started off trying. He found a pitch online he wanted to try to throw, where it's almost like a two seam, just runs in on righties and or away from lefties. But the way he pronated his release, it actually sunk and went away. So I was like, huh. And so I was like, won't you? And so then like his travel ball coach came back there at the time. I was like, hey, and showed him a few things. And all of a sudden I'm catching him. And and that's almost to the point where I can't catch him anymore. But like the next 3 or 4 pitches were it was just straight up just a sinker and some down movement, like almost like a changeup, but harder than a changeup. I was like, dude, I don't know what you're doing. Just keep doing that. If you can keep replicating it, then just keep doing it. So he's going to keep working on that. But yeah, it was because he's off this week because they're not having a winter break. So but he's got to he has to long toss and throw 2 bullpens, and because next week they got 4 games next week, so he's got to be ready to go next week.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Now does he throw that with the 2 fingers over, like kind of? So the way I was taught a splitter is, I'm right-handed, but you put it in between these 2 fingers and you throw it, and it just automatically goes down. Is that how he throws it, or is the grip a little different?
It's a little different. It's almost, he'd have to show you, but it's kind of like his middle finger's kind of on the inside of the seam. And it turns, so like he can, and when he'll pronate it kind of like this. Okay. And so like it actually, or sometimes if he wants it to go opposite direction, he'll do it like that, almost like a changeup, right? Okay. And he'll just get some nasty dive to it. So I mean, it's pretty cool. So I mean, he was yeah. That's kind of his goal, because he has 3 he can command now. Like he can command his fastball, changeup, curveball. So like he wants to work on the 4th one. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So we'll see.
Man. Hey, do it, man. That's what I'm talking about.
I would love to talk about that. Let me tell you something. I bore the shit out of my wife because I could talk pitching all day. Right. I agitate the shit out of her because, every now and then I'll force her to watch games because she's my wife. Whatever. It's her duty. You signed up for it, Kim. But, and I just piss her off because I'm like, I'm wondering if the grip or whatever, and in her mind is probably coming out like Phenomena. I'm going in, right? So I would love, let me tell you something. One thing I love to talk, that's pitching. Because what fascinates me is the grip. Like the grip, you and I, John, can have the same grip, but the ball may do 2 totally different things.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I may grip it and it may not do anything. So my curveball was shit. It's always been shit. It's always going to be shit. I've never had a curveball. I had a decent changeup, but my curveball would do nothing. Like it was a cement mixer. I'd throw it and that thing would get hit 500 feet. Right. So, it's just, it's different, but I love because I used to like to watch how Maddox would grip something and the movement that he got on it, right? The thing about Greg Maddox that made him so great was not necessarily the velocity. It was the late movement, right? Because it's one thing if I throw a pitch and you can see that thing move and you can predict where it's going to go. Maddox threw a pitch and like the last 2 or 3 feet, it would move. And it would move 3 feet in the last 2 or 3 feet. And it would start at your chest and end up right over the inside corner. Right. He got a lot of folks out that way.
Sure did.
And so that I've always been a fan of like, how do you make the ball do that? Because at the major leagues, it's not just velocity. It's the movement that you can get on a pitch, right? That's what's going to determine success or failure. Anyway, guys, I'm going to shut up now because we got to go, and I know Chris, you got to go. But if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. You can go to For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. It gives us access to the algorithm, and it allows us to bring programming like this to you. I got a lot of folks to thank, specifically John, Chris A1, Jack Spade, Smitty 10, 13, 15, whatever, K, Berto, Uncle Steve, Big Low Country, Carrie from my channel, the Beard Gang, everybody in the world. Thank y'all. Want to thank God. Wouldn't be here without him. Last but not least, thank you to Mr. Jack Spade and Eric Parker. And we will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. John, hopefully you'll be with me, buddy. But if not, I will see you back next Wednesday.
Yes,
you guys have an amazing week. Go Braves. Thanks to everybody who joined. You guys have a great day.